It is 25 degrees out. Now, most people think the only way to survive a night like this in your car is to keep the engine running or use a diesel heater. But I'm here to tell you, you don't need either of those. In fact, idling your car all night is dangerous and heaters can be complete overkill. Today, I'm gonna share a simple, safe system that I use to stay toasty warm in my Overland minivan without burning a drop of gas. I do, of course, want to explain my no idling rule. There are 3 reasons that I don't ever want to do that. Number 1, obviously, is carbon monoxide. You can't smell it, you can't see it. I do have a little gauge over here for it, but it's really not as effective as you might think. The second thing is wear and tear on your engine. The longer your engine sits there and idles, the worse it's gonna be in the long run. It never gets heated up enough, especially not in those colder climates, to actually burn off the moisture and gunk that accumulates inside of the oil. And then the last thing is you are consuming fuel. It's really just not worth the cost. Now, I know somebody out there is going to say, hey, I sleep in my car with the engine running all the time. I've been doing it for 20 years. It hasn't been a problem. It's not a problem until it is. And then when it is, it's a big problem. And then on top of that, some folks do have hybrids. Those hybrids still have gas engines. The gas engines do cycle on and off. Now that is a risk. So if you are doing that, I still don't recommend it. So if the engine is off, how do we generate heat? We don't. We want to trap it. And believe it or not, the first thing you want to consider is what is actually making contact with your body. And the number 1 material you want to avoid is just plain cotton. It's essentially a sponge. So if you start to sweat in your hot spots, it's going to retain that moisture. And as you start to cool off, it's going to be harder and harder to reheat those areas, making you even worse off. We want to go for something like a merino wool. Some of these synthetic layers are also really good. You want to minimize the things that you're going to wear inside of your sleep system, and you absolutely don't want to wear wet socks. If you have wet socks, take them off. Store them in an outer layer so that they can dry out, but you never want to wear wet socks inside of your sleep system. The next thing you absolutely need is a beanie. Now this beanie right here has a Sherpa lining. It is perfect for keeping me warm. If I get too hot, I can roll it up, give myself a little bit of a vent there, or just take it off entirely. But right now I'm cold enough that I'm gonna keep it on. And by the way, if you don't mind, please leave your favorite tip for staying warm in the comments. It could help someone out who is experiencing this problem today. Once you've got that first layer on your body, the next thing that you really want to take deeply into consideration is your bedding. I'm going to explain my setup in a couple of minutes here, but if you're going to roam the walls of Walmart or Target looking for a sleeping bag, you want to get one that is at least rated 20, 30, even 40 degrees lower than the lowest temperature that you plan to sleep with. You can always crack it and vent it, and you can let a little bit of that extra heat out. But if you get too cold and it's not rated low enough, it's not gonna ever catch up, and you're just gonna be rolling, tossing, and turning and feeling cold all night. Now, if your outer layer isn't rated cold enough and you have what you have and you wanna do the best that you can, keep in mind that you do have this layer. You can also double up. So for example, I could put another blanket on top of this blanket, or I could put another base layer under the clothes that I'm wearing now. Base layer under the clothes is probably the cheapest option before upgrading your sleeping bag or your sleep system. Now, once you've done the best that you can for layering and putting a sleep system around you, if you don't have everything you need, then you just want to get in your bed, roll up as tight as you can, keep everything nice and tight. Not tight in between your legs and things like that, but the edges wrapped around your body. Any of those extra air gaps that you have inside of your system are going to be places where you get cold later in the night. If you do toss and turn, once you hit those cold spots, it's going to wake you back up. I have a cheat code that I use. If you've noticed, I've had this very thin blanket around me Over the last few years, my sleep system has evolved from an old military 3-piece sleep system to a double layer heated blanket. I have this heated blanket that you can see right here, and then I also have a narrow twin heated pad on my mattress underneath me right now, so I can sandwich myself in between 2 heated layers. This is also possibly overkill. I am fortunate enough to have a large power system that I can run that 200 to 300 watt load for about 10 hours without running out of power. Like I said, that's probably overkill, but if it's something that you can afford and you do plan to stay in your vehicle long term, you may want to consider an electric heating source. Now, keeping heat in the minivan is actually much more complicated than simply closing all of your windows. In fact, when you're dealing with condensation, especially in the winter, you're going to want to crack all of your normal windows. So my driver and passenger side windows, at least 1 to 2 inches to allow a little bit of ventilation. It sounds counterintuitive because my windows have absolutely zero insulation. And so these window shades that I have here are going to be used on my back windows. That's going to help so that the places closest to me don't exchange heat as much, but allows that airflow as I'm breathing in and out of the vehicle. And even on top of that, with your windows cracked, with these back here, you're probably going to get condensation anyway. If you don't have access to a good sleeping bag, heated blankets, electricity, all of this extra stuff, I've got 2 tips that you can do that don't cost a dime. And number 1 is feed the beast. If you are in a colder climate, you're trying to stay warm, lard up, eat all of the foods you can. You really can't overeat in extreme cold weather. Make sure you're eating, make sure you're hydrating. This is the opposite of what people normally say. You want to eat a little bit of that fatty food. Get something that is going to satisfy you and keep your gut full. And that alone can help increase your internal temperature. And the second thing that I recommend to retain as much of that heat as possible is to take the extra clothes that you plan to wear tomorrow that you're not wearing now, put them inside of whatever sleep system you do have, allow them to absorb some of that heat off of your body while you're sleeping so that when you wake up in the morning, you're able to put them back on and they're already pre-warmed. Nothing is worse than sleeping as warm as you can and then waking up and putting on little icicle clothes. It's just not fun. So once you've tried all of that, you've layered up, you've got your sleeping system, you've got your windows cracked, you've got your insulation. If that's still not working for you and your vehicle has gas in it, get up and go south or to a warmer climate. That's the easiest way to stay warm or stay cozy in your minivan camper. This little community has been growing rapidly. If you'd like to join it, the easiest way to do that is subscribe or come over to Overland Minivan on Facebook, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. See you guys in the next video.